Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we will be getting to My Little Pony Generation 5 Make Your Mark Winter Wish Day. Long title. The Generation 5 part's not part of it, it's just My Little Pony Make Your Mark Winter Wish Day. So, for those who don't know, this is the holiday special. It is a special, it is not Chapter 3, Netflix is drunk, go home. Um, the entire chapter bullshit that they're doing with this makes no sense because the chapter 1 of Make Your Mark was a special. Chapter 2 is 8 episodes. Chapter 3 is now a special. It's just like they don't know what they're doing. This entire chapter bullshit is just illogical and makes no sense. Just call it what it is. You could even have the specials separated out into their own thing. Like, oh, this is Make Your Mark specials. Have those all in one category. Then have the series in one category. Why do you have to separate it into chapters? It doesn't make sense. It's like them trying to sort out Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood into seasons when Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does not have seasons. And trying to restrain it by seasons makes no sense. It doesn't even have arcs in the typical sense. FMA Brotherhood is just a long form series. It just goes. It doesn't have seasons. It doesn't have arcs. Netflix annoys the shit out of me. But yeah, so this is Winter Wish Day. This is a holiday special. Our first holiday special for G5. And what do I know about it? So I have seen a couple screenshots, mainly just what the ponies look like in their winter gear. And there was one shot specifically that was making the rounds because in the original trailer, I guess, I didn't watch the trailer, but I guess in the original trailer it showed a shot of Zip's face and like it was not finished clearly. Because it's like her face was trying to escape the model and everything, and it's like, oh, that does not look good. Even I'll admit that. But they apparently patched that. It was fixed because it was incomplete, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'll give that to you. I acknowledge that. Yeah, it was obviously incomplete. It's not that big a deal, anyways. It really was. It'd probably have only been for like a frame or two that it was shown like that. I'm not gonna be super picky over shit like that, so. But yeah, I don't know what the actual plot of this is gonna be. I also don't know when this is supposedly going to take place. Like, are the events of this going to be before Misty started like coming into Maritime Bay and asserting herself, for lack of a better term, or is it going to be like I don't know. Is it before or after that? Because that's going to change a lot, and that will obviously determine if Misty and Opaline have a role to play in this special. I have no clue if they're going to have a role to play at all. I don't even know if they're going to be in it. I kind of hope that they are. One, because I really like Misty. She is one of my favorite characters. And two, because I feel like introducing this afterwards and not having them be a part of it at all would be a little weird. But I don't know. I don't know. So, an interesting thing as well is that this is a holiday special, but it's not centered around the heartwarming holiday that we got in G4. And this is a direct continuation of G4, but like presumably a shit ton of time in the future. So I'm wondering, do they just not celebrate heartwarming at all anymore? Or is it just a different holiday? Maybe it's just a different holiday, like in the real world, how we have stuff like Yule, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and so many other holidays besides just Christmas. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. So maybe it's a similar kind of thing. These ponies just happen to celebrate a different holiday. Winter Wishday. I don't know. It's definitely a possibility, is it not? Um, and that could actually be a really interesting thing. Like, what if like one or two of the ponies there did celebrate Heartswarming, and they had to get used to that not being a thing in Maritime Bay. Like, what if Izzy celebrated Heartswarming, or the Princess Sisters? But that's not what they did in Maritime Bay, and so they had to get used to a new holiday. And the kind of lesson of it all was that different people celebrate things differently, and that you should respect that, and even uh, celebrate their celebrations with them in a way. You get what I'm saying, I hope. But yeah, it's like that could be a very good lesson to teach kids that not everybody's going to celebrate the same holidays as you or the same way as you. That would be really really cool to teach, because a lot of shows, a lot of companies won't do that. They will not talk about Kwanzaa. They will not talk about Hanukkah, and it sucks. I'm glad we have the Ghost of Molly McGee though, that is giving a full on blast of Hanukkah goodness, with Libby and everything. But yeah, it's just we need more media that showcases other holidays for the winter season. Um, either way, though, either way. So yeah, I don't really know what else to expect with this. I don't know like what kind of conflict there's going to be, um, unless we do have Opaline and Misty again. Um, I don't know, but I'm very interested to find out, because I've been really enjoying Make Your Mark so far. I've been really enjoying G5 in general. And so I really can't wait to see what they do with a holiday special. This is, let me see, about 45 minutes long, too. So it's about the length of two episodes. Um, so that's a pretty good length for a special. I think the first special was the same, around the same length. Um, so we'll just see how this goes and hope for the best. Let's just get this started, though. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the special. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so with Alphabet's new voice actor, Andrew Jackson, the Hamilton actor I was thinking of was Christopher Jackson. I had the last name correct. Andrew Jackson is also the name of the U.S. president, though, so there's that. But from what I've found, this Andrew Jackson has done some small voice roles here and there. But the one thing that I recognized that he's done is he was one of the two actors to play the character Love Sausage in The Boys. Because the character of Love Sausage had a different actor in season 2 and than in season 3. Two different actors had portrayed the character in those seasons. So it's like, oh, that is a very different kind of character and a very different kind of show. It's like you have The Boys, which is extremely violent, adult, gory, and everything, and then you have My Little Pony. It's like, oh, okay. But let's talk about this. So, Winter Wish Day. The weird thing about this is Winter Wish Day was one of the holidays celebrated in this. And it did go the route with the different ponies having different holidays depending on their cultures and all. But why was this special called Winter Wish Day if that was only one of the holidays? That'd be like calling a Christmas special or movie or whatever, calling it Christmas, but Christmas only being one of the holidays talked about. It's like, let's make a holiday special talking about Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, all of that, but let's name the special Christmas. It's like, that seems very fucking weird. uh, I doubt there was any kind of intention with it. It probably just sounded good to them and everything, but it's just it's fucking weird. It is. Um, there was no Opaline or Misty at all in this. Like, they weren't even hinted at. Misty wasn't even mentioned, despite this being shown to take place after the events of the first 8 episodes of the series. It's just, they're completely absent from it altogether, which I'm actually very disappointed by. Like, even if they were just mentioned once, I would have been fine. But the fact that they're not even mentioned in this, the fact that they're just completely absent from it altogether, is a little weird to me, considering how big of a role they have in the series right now. It just seems like things would at least be mentioned with that. I understand it's kind of its own little special, and while it does connect with the series and everything, it is canon and all. It's still meant to kind of be its own separate thing, but at the same time, it's like it just doesn't make sense for it to be canon, to reference direct canon with other stuff, and to not even just briefly, in a single line of dialogue, that's all they would have needed, to briefly mention that this was a thing that had happened. But the actual, like, content itself, the actual, like, events of the episode, with all of the, with going through all of them and all of their traditions and all, was nice. It was fine, and I like the idea of, like, different cultures sharing their traditions with each other. We have a lot to go when it comes to, like, cultures in the world, in the real world, learning to respect each other and acknowledge each other and everything. And it's like, it's still something we have to work on, like, especially with holidays, because you'll see everything this holiday season. Everything is going to be overly Christmas saturated. It's going to be all about Christmas. That's all the decorations you're going to see in stores. That's all you're going to see while going throughout town. All of it's going to be Christmas oriented. You're not going to see stuff for Hanukkah. You're not going to see stuff for Kwanzaa. It's like, it's so one note and so tunnel visioned. And it's always bothered me. It's like, there are more holidays celebrated at this time of year. To have publicly only a single holiday even acknowledged is insulting, honestly. And while I personally celebrate Christmas, it's like, I would love to see Hanukkah decorations, Yule decorations, etc. Just at least having them acknowledged publicly and more consistently. It's just, it's really weird that in 2022 we're still stuck in this idea that Christmas is like the winter holiday and that everybody must celebrate it, so we gotta decorate for nothing else publicly. Just, it bothers me. Again, even though I personally do celebrate Christmas myself, it just, it's just a thing that I've never understood. um, but in that case, I do like the concept of this, of them sharing their traditions. Going to Hitch's house and getting to share in those traditions, going to see the traditions of Bridalwood and of um oh, mind is blanking, Zephyr Heights as well, and all. It's just like it's really cool to see that kind of the message is to actively show interest in these other kinds of celebrations and other kinds of cultural ways to focus on the holiday that may not be your own. That it's a good thing to acknowledge other traditions. That it's a good thing to even help friends celebrate them if you have friends who do celebrate them. And I think that it was handled very well in that regard. The traditions were all very cute and nice, and it was enjoyable. It was just full of that kind of holiday spirit. I just wish there was more content out there that acknowledged the idea of other ways to celebrate. Because it's not even just in real life with all the decorations and how the cities like physically decorate and everything, but it's also in our media. There's so much Christmas specific media and very, very little about Hanukkah or anything else. Like there's some Hanukkah stuff. There's 8 Crazy Nights. There's that episode of Ghost of Molly McGee and everything. There's even a Rugrats special for it. But overall, it's still very minimal. Almost everything is specifically Christmas. And it's just, I really wish it wasn't. And I know why it is, too. I know the reason why it's so overly saturated. Because Christmas was the holiday that was, taken over by the church. And it was, as such, forced into culture as the church forced themselves into culture and into controlling everyone through that. And so they forced this in with it, and it just kind of evolved from there to where it's like they forced it to become such a big thing that even once the church lost control, that stayed as just the norm. And it's been a long time since, and so people just celebrate it because it's the norm. Because it was forced on them after having the ideas for it stolen from other celebrations that that the church didn't like. Church is like, we're going to steal your ideas, we're going to steal your traditions, we're going to make them our own, and we're just going to make it about Jesus, even though Jesus wasn't born in the winter, and there is actual evidence towards that, that actually based on the Bible itself, he would have been born probably more in like, I think it was like early fall, based on what the Bible says and everything. I think it's around there. But either way, it would not be in the winter. And it's like they just chose that because they were stealing the holiday anyway. And it's like, oh, we're just going to make it about the birth of Jesus because that way we can justify it. We're just going to rewrite our own history, our own lore, our own beliefs just to justify stealing this holiday and putting a stop to other people celebrating it in a way that they like. Because like the original celebrations were dirty in the eyes of the church, basically. I'm not going to get into all of that shit here, though. It's like there's a lot. I think there's Adam Conover, I think his name is. Maybe. the guy who like does that kind of stuff. He has like Adam Ruins Everything. He has like a video, I think it's online, where he talks about the origins of Christmas and everything and how it was stolen by the church and all. So it's actually pretty fun watch if you didn't know. But the point is, I really, like I said, like how this special showcased different traditions and made it a very notable point that it's a good thing to acknowledge and respect other people's holiday traditions. Um, and yeah, there's some good music. There was a lot of it that was just like pony versions of like classic carols and stuff, which they've actually done before. Like there's a G4 like full musical album with the G4 characters singing Christmas carols and all, and it's just with a little bit of lyrical changes to be more pony based. And it's like the music's actually really fucking good. um, but yeah, it's I really like the way they went through everything, and you could kind of say maybe it felt a little rushed because of it, because but it was, and that was kind of the point. They were legitimately rushing through everything to try and get through it all and get back to the Bright House in the end. So it's supposed to feel like that in a way, and as such, I personally can't hold that against it. The characters were pretty much on point to the series, like no real notable changes there. Izzy was maybe a little bit too Pinkie Pie-ish here, like little bit too much like a Pinkie Pie clone in this special compared to in the actual series and stuff. Um, but I could maybe chalk that up to her being super hyped over Christmas and it just affecting her a little bit, maybe. um, but we also got the return of some characters. We got Alpha Biddle and Onyx back. Alpha Biddle had a different voice, and it was definitely noticeable. Um, but I think Andrew Jackson did a good job. But it was definitely very different from Phil Lamar's performance as him. Um, but yeah, and he got to basically fulfill a similar role to what we knew him as from the movie. We had the entire betting thing go on. I kind of wish that it wasn't resolved so easily, and I kind of wish that they had just added in an extra scene where Sunny challenged him again, just like she did in the movie, and won Izzy's ornament back. I think that would have actually been really cool because it would have been a callback to the movie where she got really sassy and challenged him like really confidently and beat him. It would be a fun callback to that, to have that happen again. Though Sunny in the series doesn't get quite as sassy as the movie Sunny did, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. I like the idea that Hitch had this thought that his grandma was very particular on a lot of things, but in reality, he was the one that was super particular and just didn't realize it. I think that's a cute idea. Um, Also, his grandmother's name is just Figgy. It's like yeah, obviously a figgy pudding reference for the holidays, but it's like they just make up his grandma and just give her a holiday based name instead of just like a normal otherwise name. Like you could have named her something that could have worked for both the holidays and otherwise, like cranberry or something. I don't know. Um, I'm not complaining too much. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just her name is so clearly referencing the holidays, so it's just like okay. And I like that we also got a little bit in there in referencing in Sonny's father again. Like they're not they're not hiding this from us. They've been referencing this here and there a couple times now. It's making sure we know he's dead. We still don't know how. I wonder if that will ever be addressed, but it's making sure that we're aware of what's going on. And probably it's doing that for the kids and everything. And you know that seeing this would help in some ways with kids who are going through losing a parent for one reason or another. So that's great, and I like that. It's just notably there. It's like, oh, we're gonna mention her father, and basically blatantly say that he's not around anymore. And it's like, oh, okay, we're doing this. I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm just saying. It's like they are very much making it clear. And obviously the musical thing, while we only like heard one song and saw only like a bit from it, the idea is fun of like Queen Haven like forcing in extra acts and doubling the length of it. The song was great too, though. It was a really great song, so I can't complain. But yeah, doubling the length of a show is, excuse me, doubling the length of a show without forewarning the people who are going to be seeing it is kind of a dick move. It is. And not even giving a lot of notice to the stars of the show either. It's like, that's not really okay. But it's My Little Pony. I mean, probably not thinking about it that hard. So, either way, I enjoyed this. I thought it was full of holiday spirit. I thought it was, like, really nice. I like the twist that the unicorns were accidentally doing magic with their greeting. Like, that legitimately did surprise me. I did not see that coming. I thought it was going to be something else, like something a little more nefarious. But no, this special just didn't really have a villain at all. It didn't really have any kind of antagonistic force. It was just an accident. It was just their tradition to say that greeting, but because they hadn't had magic before, they didn't know that it would that it was an old spell and that it would literally cause immense snowfall. It was completely unintentional. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I really did enjoy this. I thought it was cute. Um, I don't know if I would say it's as good as like the series or the last special. It's probably a little weaker than that, but it's still good. Either way, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of My Little Pony Make Your Mark Winter Wish Day? I don't know when we're going to get more of this. I know we're going to get multiple specials and multiple batches of episodes next year, 2023. I just don't know when at this point. I don't think it's been announced. So we'll eventually see, hopefully sooner rather than later. So in the meantime, like I said, tell me your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.